1 o'clock, we're here in the central jury room, and I'm going to start with the HC Committee on Aging and Senior Citizens with the Honorable Trish Reiner Burwell. Please tell us what you need.
Thank you, sir.
Blank check.
Mic check. So my name is Trish Burwell. I am the Executive Director at the Hood County Senior Center, Hood County Committee on Aging. And I think all of you have the binder that I left with you a couple weeks ago with a lot of detail in there about what we do, what we have done for the last 44 years in Hood County. I think that you know that I am asking today for $75,000 to supplement what we get in grant money. We do need matching funding for some of our federal and state grants, and this is extremely helpful. As you can probably surmise from the packet, we are about to grow exponentially over the next couple of years. We serve about 75,000 meals annually, and we transport about 12,000 people annually. And this will help. I'm not asking for any more than I did last year or they did last year. I'm asking for the same amount. Currently, that will be sufficient based on projections for matching grant funding and things like that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I have all of the information here in the binder that I gave to you.
And if anybody ever feels sorry for themselves, all you have to do is go to the senior citizen and deliver some Meals on Wheels, and then you will thank God as your position that you're in. Is that right?
You are correct, sir. We are typically the lifeline for a lot of those folks that are homebound.
It really is.
We've actually called 911 no less than 5 times, I think, since I've been there since January.
Was there, did you build a new kitchen? Was that?
We have not done that yet. We are in the process of doing that.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought that, because if you look at here, there's from 23 to 24, there was an additional 25,000.
Yeah, that was ARPA funding.
No, it's right here in the.
Oh, yes.
No, in the budget.
Correct,
and I think
yes.
that was in.
Yeah,
in anticipation of the kitchen being built.
Correct, yes.
But it hasn't been built yet.
Correct. We have just begun that contracting process.
Okay.
Good. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Team there.
I do have a good team.
Put it off because Jeanette was so good for so many years, and y'all doing a great job. You think that's right, Sheriff? You keeping a close eye on?
Keeping a close eye on everything, it's running smooth, so.
We have 16 employees, and 9 of those are part-time.
Y'all-
And we have about 250
Yeah,
plus
and the food
volunteers.
is really, the food is really good.
It is.
I mean, it really is. It's nutritious. I've eaten. Have you eaten there? I will take you. That's the next place I'm taking you to. I've taken you to a niece. Now I'm going to take you to the senior citizen. Hey, how about that? That's a. I'm not going to tell you when either.
Okay, that's fine.
I didn't bring my book.
I don't have any further questions. Anybody else have anything?
I'm good.
No?
You're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Good work, really.
No questions?
I mean, I just had the question on the kitchen.
Okay.
Because that was the reasoning for the increase in funding last year that was
Yes.
stated.
Yes.
And I signed a check the other day so we're getting moving.
We are getting
forward on that.
started.
It's kind of a slow process, getting people that want to help do things, so we are definitely moving forward on that. And, we've got more needs than ever, and that's why we're redoing the kitchen and still have future plans of another building out to the west of the building that we've got now. So lots of things for the future, but more old people like me coming of age anyway, so got to take care of a lot of people.
I like when the governor sent, what was the name of that gentleman? I delivered Meals on Wheels with him. You remember that? He remembered me too, and I accused him of driving 90 in a school zone, pulling a trailer. He said, I wouldn't pull in a trailer.
But he didn't deny going 90.
He was a good guy. Is he still helping out there?
Oh, I believe so, yes.
Good. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do, really. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
CPS. You know what I really liked up there when we were down there that Thursday, those pinwheels? I've never heard that story. That lady that gave that history of the CPS and all was a school teacher, and you could really tell that she was a school teacher.
You did a great job.
She did a great job, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Well, tell us what y'all, introduce yourself.
I'm Tammy McGuire. I'm president of CPS Board, and with me is Robin Solomon, fellow board member. And so we manage your funds from the state for our kids who are in care. Doesn't mean they're necessarily in care in this county, but they are still our responsibility. So we oversee that. And we've had some adventures with some legislation that changed last year. Late night politicking with half the crew there, they changed some things in Austin that have tied the hands of our local police departments, sheriffs, and our investigators. So a child cannot be removed unless they're an immediate and, there's another word, immediate and imminent danger. Also requires a judge to sign off, which is just smacks in the face. We have kids who test positive for drugs and can't remove them. I mean, we're talking toddlers. A toddler doesn't decide to smoke a joint and get high or smoke a meth pipe, but we cannot remove them from the home right now. There's a whole bunch of us who are fighting that and going to present to Austin this year because this is not okay. It's affecting morale. It's affecting, our caseworkers, the investigators. So it's just unacceptable. So we'll fight that battle. But in the meantime, we're taking care of all of our kids. We've had some new expenses this coming year. We've had some kids that have, unfortunately, for all kinds of reasons, have been labeled child or sexual predators. We have a young man recently who was accepted into Weatherford College, or not Weatherford, Tarleton, full ride, room and board, great student, but because something was on his record when he was 10 years old, 10, was not being allowed to enter into the dorms. We have got the psychosexual analysis done. He was perfectly cleared, and we were able to do that. So we located a doctor and a psychiatrist in Arlington, isn't she? To do it for $800. I believe that's the cheapest, but she's really good. And we've had one other case from another 11-year-old. This young man is now going to age out. He's 17. So those are new expenses that we've never dealt with before. So that's been an adventure. But obviously, we want to help these kids and have mentors as they age out of the system. And so getting in there, there's a whole group that's working, make sure they're on the either college path or recruitment through the military or trades. There's a lot happening. We're working with a school in it's Lincoln Technical in Granbury, who will provide full scholarships for kids to learn various trades. And they come out of the gate making, $30 an hour. So that's fantastic. And it's usually 6 months of training to at least get started into an internship with them. So that's been very successful. They're rolling out for these older kids.
You'll do a great job.
Thank you. Everyone assumes that everybody is their little toddlers. They're not. It's a lot of teens, a lot of older high schoolers, and we need to make sure they're on the right path for the future.
There's a big crowd out there this year. The sheriff and I are always out there.
Yes, sir. We did that. Yeah, this year, our Go Blue was the best we've ever had, and it's just growing each year, and we've joined up forces with our partner there, and so it's really been successful getting the word out and spreading the news. And so there's a few things we still want to do next year that we just ran out of time and money for, but we're pretty excited about just getting the word out, and we have a lot of organizations willing to help us.
Good.
So if you look, so is this the Child Advocacy Center?
No.
Oh, that's Hood County CPS Board.
That's her. We are Hood County CPS Board.
Okay.
We're different. In 1999, the state of Texas said, counties, you're in charge of your kids. We don't want to mess with these fees anymore. So we save you an hour a week on your agenda so that you don't have to worry about who needs what expense paid for. Everything is in the budget. So that's our role. We're the fiduciary responsibility for this county in managing those funds.
Good. Y'all do a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Really a great job.
Any questions for us? Anything we're working on?
Just keep up the good work. In Dallas, the CPS are always, it seems like they help out the real bad ones escape, but the kind of the wealthier, higher middle class or high class, they really want to try to put the hammer down on. I guess that's what I was involved with.
Actually, in OCAC, you know, we're one of the communities that's privatized CPS care. We're like the poster child for the state of Texas because Hood County does it the best. And they're always rolling us out to, hey, can you talk to this county? Because we do a good job of working with all entities.
Yeah, you really do.
And the community.
Y'all really do.
Okay,
That's
do
the
they-
big thing that
Thank
y'all
you.
do.
Are you a nonprofit or?
No, we
Your
are
state-
CPS board. Now, we have a separate nonprofit, but we never.
Yeah, so this is
asked for
a
money.
state-
This is
a
the
state,
state. We are
okay.
technically volunteer employees of the Hood County.
Okay,
Commissioners.
well, thank you.
So that's our role. But we have a nonprofit, Cash for Kids, that we raise funds to cover stuff that, you know, ballet and all those good things that the state we can't ask the taxpayers to pay for.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have anything you want to throw in?
I'm just glad I'm with this team.
Tammy's good, isn't she?
Yes, it is.
Y'all make a good team, though. You make a good team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
See
Thank
y'all.
you.
Okay. Okay, we got the community on English already.
Okay, we got Biloxi.
What does-
Nobody's here from,
Margaret, what do you have here on?
Children's Advocacy Center Board, so are you ready for us? I guess?
Yeah, okay.
So this
Oh,
is
yeah.
Margaret Cohenauer,
Yeah.
our Executive Director. Well,
Good morning. Hi. Good afternoon, actually, isn't it? Wow.
Sir?
Yeah, my name is Margaret Cohenauer, the Executive Director of the Biloxi River Children's Advocacy Center. I think y'all see me every year when I come, and thank you for what you have done for us. We really appreciate your support. We're asking for the same amount. I submitted the documents to you with a letter. What we need to do is, what we do is work with children who've been sexually or physically abused, provide a safe place for them to tell their story, work with law enforcement, CPS, and provide a unbiased interview for those children that law enforcement can take and make those decisions on prosecution. We'll support that family throughout the process, whether it goes to trial or not. Sometimes it's not enough, but those families still need a lot of help. Sometimes a perpetrator gets put in jail, but that leaves a family, a mother and children that don't have any support. So we will link them up with all that they need. And we also offer counseling services for these families and their children. We don't charge for any of our services. We do have state and federal grants that cover our staff, but what we need is to supplement those funds. Similar to what Trish said, there's operational matching grants, a lot of things that this is important funding for us to receive, helps us match and be able to continue to do what we do. Y'all may have questions for me. I know I sent you a lot of paperwork, so.
I think y'all do a lot, especially interviewing those children.
You know, we had our highest number in May of reaching over 1,100 children through our educational presentations, and that's been real key for what we do because we can sit and wait for a child to be abused, which we don't want that to happen. We know 9 out of 10 aren't ever going to talk. If we go and present in the schools, we educate professionals on how to recognize those signs. We feel like we're on the prevention and education end as much as the back end of it. And what Tammy was saying, just our Child Abuse Prevention Month, it was unbelievable what we got out, but just the aftermath of that, we doubled our number of interviews in April. So when people are out there talking about it, we're able to do a lot more effective work with those families, but we hope to prevent it too. So we have an evidence-based curriculum that we use from pre-K through high school. Sextortion's a big thing right now, online solicitation. So we're doing a lot of additional education about that because we can't control what these kids are doing on their phones, and it's really scary stuff. So we're seeing some real high numbers there as well. So doing what we can to stop it and educate about it as well.
How much did the county give y'all last year?
Up here it says 20,000. I think I asked for 18. I would certainly love to have 20.
Yeah.
But yes, you've given us 20,000 the last
We need to.
year or two.
This is such an important deal here for the county, I tell you. I know we raised a lot of money at that fundraiser buying
Yes.
tables.
very appreciative. Things are costing a lot more, but we raised a lot of money too, and that's the key is you want to raise more than you spend. So for a lot of nonprofits, we're struggling with that right now. But
What would y'all need, what would really help you out as far as asking for the county? I know y'all serve other counties too, don't you?
yeah, we do serve Erath and Somerville.
How much does ERAD and Somerville contribute to you?
They do not have a fund like this. We will occasionally get the Somerville County, what was it called, United Co-op of Somerville, phased out last year. They were supporting us every year. They do not have a support system for that, so we're not sure what we're going to do with them for this next year to get some funds. Erath County, we have a very small United Way grant out there. So the majority of what we do is here, but we do have a direct service out there, which the good thing in Erath is it's all direct service. I have an interviewer, a therapist, and an intake coordinator. So those positions are covered through our state and federal grants. All the operational infrastructure, keep the lights on, everything here is here in Granbury. So this is our main site. So we would be thrilled to receive $20,000. It would just help us with the match. I don't want to be greedy. We would always take more because we did lose a big funder this year. And so that's challenging.
I'm sorry, do you have fundraisers in Somerville and Erath?
Yes, we have Heroes with Handbags. I don't know if you've heard of it. We'll do that in August. It's already sold out before we even got the official email out. And so we're excited about that. If we had a venue twice the size, we would probably fill it. And we do a gala.
And where
So-
are you having that?
We'll be having it at the conference center this year.
I was just thinking if there was a bigger venue, but I think that's the
We've been
biggest
trying
one.
Salon El Ranchito, and I don't ever want to talk bad about anybody, but when you don't have air conditioning and it's August, that place is miserable. And so that was the biggest complaint we've got in the last few years. And we could almost get as many people in the conference center, not quite.
And what about in Erath or Somerville? Do you have fundraisers there?
We do. We just started doing our Heroes with Handbags out there again, and it was smaller. We do it at Tarleton, and they've been great. They provide the venue for us at the college, and it's a lot smaller group, and it hasn't caught on like it has in Hood, but we had a fairly successful, in our terms, fundraiser this past year out there. It's hard to plan 2, 3, 4 fundraisers a year and still do your job.
Yeah.
And so we're just balanced that the best we can. And we did a lot during Child Abuse Prevention Month. We did SIP and CAC. We made a little bit of money with there. You know, sometimes maybe $400 or $500. They'll give back 20%. And so we do a lot of those throughout the year, wherever we have opportunities. But we also just did it in Glen Rose for 2 full days, and we did not get anything from that, but wanted to do it to promote what we do in the community.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you all very much for supporting us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the great job you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting my wife go off the board. No. Okay.
There's no one here for, we see if
You want to come up here, you just got the deal on capital improvements. You want to give us the information about that grinder?
or any other capital that you have a
Capital
question. Yeah. Yeah. So we went
Sir?
out of order yesterday because things went so fast. So the fire marshal did his presentation yesterday. So I didn't text you to let you know.
No, I was trying
We're going to give you an opportunity, Mike, to speak to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But Donald has, how many employees do you have, Donald?
There's 37 in our department.
See, he's got to get back there. He's got to crack the whip. What do you, that grinder,
Yes, after our,
that grinder has only worked about 2 weeks since it's been broke. We should have listened to you to begin with, Donald.
After our discussion yesterday, I did get a hold of Vermeer, and the pricing, what he had sent me, and what you got that first page is actually
That was
the email.
That's what he gave us,
Back in April, he said as far as he knows and can tell, that the price hadn't changed. And so on that second page, I've got it highlighted. This is actually that one where we were thinking about trading in ours at the time, which I don't think we're looking at it that way this time. And I called him on the way to Commissioner's Court this morning because I didn't think to ask him if he even had a grinder. And he texted me during court, and he said they're going to have one completed in mid-July, and they should have it by the end of August. So it's not really that far off. And Commissioner Eagle would love this, but it said, just let me know if it's a go so I can put your name on it.
Good.
tell her to put our name on it, because we need a backup, don't we? Is this to be used as a backup?
No, this would be the
This would
primary.
be primary. The old one
No,
would
the
be,
new one. I
yeah,
understand the new
yeah, oh, yeah, the old, yeah, be backup.
Yeah, so we would mark out the 104,000 is, mark that out. 'cause
Yes, ma'am.
We wouldn't do that.
It would just be that top.
So the one that'll be
highlight.
ready in mid-July or August, it's at this $678,000
Yes, ma'am.
price?
Got that in capital improvements? Yes, I just put it there. You just put it there?
She's adding to the list.
What took you so long? That's what I did, yeah. Okay.
And also, I guess I jumped the gun yesterday, and I was talking to you about the 2 Bobcats that we're needing to replace. It was in your packet I gave you yesterday. And what we're looking at is through buy board, and it's two Bobcats, 2 new Bobcats for $77,520.
Each or
No, together.
70?
How much?
$77,520.14.
And those are all new.
Yes, sir. I believe it's 2013s that we're replacing.
Okay.
Kind of like the grinder, they're running every day.
Implements on it too?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
It hasn't gone up that much in price.
No, they haven't. No, well, as far as machinery, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
They last and last, but
They are some good machines, I'll tell you what. Bought one, I thought, I don't know what we did, and ended up buying 2, so they're good.
Would we be able to salvage any of other equipment when you buy these, or there's
Yes,
not replacing anything?
more than likely, we'll put it on Renee Bates with the skid steers. The dump trucks and larger equipment, we take over to Ritchie Brothers.
Okay.
We'll get
Do
a
you
better
have any idea what the salvage value is for what you would salvage if you
It
you get these?
surprises you. I would think we'd probably get between 5 and 7, maybe 5 and 8,000 apiece for the old ones.
It would be what?
Between 5 and 8,000.
Okay. And there's 2,
We got 2 that we're
so maybe around 16,000.
Yeah.
You need anything else while you're
No, sir.
It's Christmas.
One thing about you, you're not like a computer, so when you need something, you need something.
It's pretty, yeah. So
Okay.
go ahead and text him back and tell him to put our name on it.
Yeah. We don't want to lose that.
Put Kevin's name on it.
Okay.
Andrews. No.
Hey, how many weeks since that thing went out has that backup thing fixed, broke, been delayed? Y'all have only been in operation probably 2 weeks.
Yeah, we didn't get everything grinded, to get the lot cleared.
It's a lot.
I'm hoping we'll hear something from them because
Yeah, but
we can stay open one more Wednesday before we're completely full.
we're talking about October 1st when this is for the 2025 budget, right? So, I mean, is something going to happen to it? You said it'll be ready in August, but we won't be able to,
Yeah, he said in his email that they'll
Yeah.
receive it in August. and
okay.
then-
But the purchase wouldn't happen till October when the new budget starts.
They'll put it to us on credit with us, won't they? They'll ship it to us with on a payment deal, won't they?
Well, and
It's-
I don't know as though, I don't know, we've kind of done this in the past, whenever we get toward the end of the budget year, there are funds available in
Yeah, we should,
55 that,
we could talk about pulling it forward,
Yeah.
pulling the purchase forward if that's what we should do. But, I mean, putting it on here as a, just in case, but
yeah,
what's wrong?
We don't want to lose this.
right, I think that
Right.
Of course, we wouldn't ask you to do anything sleight of hand or anything either.
No. No, so, Yeah.
You can check into it to see.
yeah. And if we could,
Okay.
understand what we have in fund balance, there may be some ability to direct some funds that were set aside for some other purpose that we're not using.
well,
When would that be? Maybe August, end of July?
well, I think that we have the funds in 55 right now that we could purchase this, correct? Are we at about, I don't know, 2 million or so, near that? So, I don't know as though we can make a decision.
No,
Yes,
that,
we
need
don't
to
have
put it on the
that.
next
That's-
court or one of the
Yeah,
next
maybe
courts.
Maybe we should look at putting it on.
We could put it on the next agenda, though, just about using the funds in Fund 55 and then replenishing it at the end of the year. You know,
Right.
Capital improvement
Move it back.
and move it back.
Mhm.
We can't lose this.
We need,
Yeah.
we need that, and the county needs that, grinder going.
I mean, there's citizens, I don't use, I don't use it, but there's citizens that are up in arms because they don't have it. I mean, they haven't, and then there's stuff that they just put.
Throw on the side.
Ditches and stuff too.
Yeah, you were surprised at as little has been thrown in the ditches.
There's been an uptick, but I really thought we'd be hammered with calls with
Been hammered with calls.
brush.
No, they haven't been hammered, but he thought they would be.
Yeah, I did.
And we have in Pecan, they have a same
Yeah.
kind of service, so the folks in Pecan aren't
Yeah.
coming out. So I'm not hearing about the grinder not being down from anybody in my precinct
Yeah.
outside of Pecan or in Pecan.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin, you going to see about putting that on the agenda for next?
Put it on the agenda.
Yeah, you up there. Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, well,
Thank
I'll
you.
let-
You did a good job. And right on time, Dorinda, come on up here and tell us about transit. Dorinda Long.
Hi. It's afternoon and not morning this year.
Trying to get you back to work as soon as possible. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Good.
Well, I'm Dorinda. I'm the general manager at the transit system. I have brought Emma Hesse, the administrative assistant at the transit system. We are glad to have the opportunity to speak with you all today. Though our narrative does not change year to year, it's good to be able to come and let each of you know how very grateful we are for the local match grant Hood County contributes each year. This is a grant we've received from Hood County for 29 years. The matching grant that Hood County makes to the transit system has been vital to our operation, shows your support of the service to our funding sources, and continues to allow us to have access to state and federal allocations. For those of you who may not know, the transit system is a rural transit district, nonprofit public transportation provider subsidized by federal and state funding. Each year, the transit system applies for various sections of federal funds, such as 5310 Elderly and Disabled Funds, 5339 Facility and Bus Rehab and Replacement Funds, and Section 5311 Federal Funds. Section 5311 federal funds are used for administrative and operating expenses. Under our Section 5311 federal funding, expenses can be reimbursed up to 50% with a 50% matching requirement. However, this does not mean that the transit system is able to bill the federal grant at 50% for reimbursement monthly. If we did, we would run out of funding before we received another allocation. The transit system, on average, bills federal funding approximately 30 to 35% for monthly expenditures. Our state funding allocation is used to help meet the match requirements for our federal grant and is also billed at approximately 30 to 35%. That leaves the transit system to earn the remaining 30 to 40% matching requirements. The transit system does that by contracting our service with local entities, various state agencies, and sales of advertising on our fleet, and of course, the matching grants we get through local governments. The support we get from local government is a key component in the formula used to distribute both state and federal funds to rural transit districts in the state of Texas. The grants we receive from cities and counties in our service areas not only help with our federal match requirements, it also shows our funding sources that local government sees the importance of public transportation and just how vital it is to those who depend on it. After the pandemic, the transit system had a 30% increase in ridership in FY22 and 23, even with the challenges we've experienced in hiring qualified drivers since the federal requirements for CDL changed. I will also mention that performance is also a component in the federal formula, and the transit system makes every effort to be as efficient as possible so our performance factors meet the expectations set by our funding sources. Rebranding our fleet image is an important change the transit system is focusing on this coming year. Our 5339 funding application was submitted to have our existing fleet wrapped to match the changes the transit system has made on its newer fleet. A change from silver and maroon to a vibrant blue and yellow wrapped vehicle with designs that express the service we offer in hopes of changing the public's mindset of being only for a specific group of people. The transit system wants citizens to see our vehicles and recognize them as being for the public's use. The transit system operates a fleet of 29 vehicles. Our fleet consists of 18 passenger cutaway buses, new lowered floor buses, transit vans, and a few sedans. Of our accessible fleet, 43% require drivers who have the proper CDL and endorsements. 33% of the fleet does not require a CDL to drive, and 24% of the fleet serves as the FTA required 20% spare ratio. The spare fleet is not accessible, meaning it does not have ramps or lifts, which creates scheduling barriers when any of the accessible fleet needs maintenance or when we experience breakdowns. Non-accessible fleet is utilized for one-on-one service for trips to the airport. The transit system operates Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We provide a park and ride service when events are happening in Granbury. The parking lot offers 188 parking spaces when parking is limited around the event. The service provides riders with temperature-controlled buses to and from the event, daily trips to work, school, shopping, medical appointments, some medical appointments being for life-saving treatments. Trips to DFW, left field are also offered, where up to 4 people can ride to the airport for the same fare, including their luggage. The transit system provides transportation for those who need travel outside of the city or county. The transit's rates are subsidized no matter whether you're traveling locally or to the Metroplex. We employ 19 dedicated employees, that's the transit system as a whole, who loves what they do and have a genuine passion for helping people we serve. With the support and guidance of the transit system's dedicated board of directors, the transit system was able to increase starting hourly wages for drivers and staff so that the transit system can compete in the community for qualified employees. The transit offers full-time employees company-paid health insurance and a retirement program that offers a 3% max company match. Dental, vision, life, and a couple supplemental policies are also offered to full-time employees through payroll deductions. The transit is an asset to the communities it serves in more ways than one, but none more important than to be able to continue to give the citizens of this community their independence. I want to thank Hood County for their continued support of our mission in the community, and to thank you for the time you have afforded me to tell you about it today.
Good deal. How much did we give y'all last year?
30,000.
30,000? Is that what City of Granbury also gives?
City of Granbury gives us 10,000 cash, and then they give us fuel allowance, so we're able to fuel our buses. Somerville County gives 35,000, and the City of Glen Rose gives 15.
Okay. This is really important, this transportation. There's a lot of senior citizens that rely upon this transit system to get them to and from doctors and all. This is really important. And you're doing a good job running it. Y'all both are.
Thank you.
Good job.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Anybody have any questions?
yeah, I may have missed it, but we had a new requirement for the 990 tax statement.
I sent all, yes.
Oh, you did send it?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not in the
I sent it
envelope?
to the judge's secretary.
Okay.
And
Was
to
it
the
in the-
judge. Yeah, so she said she would see to it that those that needed it would get it, so.
Okay, maybe it's in the envelope.
I sent the financials, the financial report, the 990, and our good standing.
Yes, those are the three things.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay?
good deal.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Be careful going back to
Thank you.
good old Glen
Thank
Rose. All right? Good.
Historical
We
Commission.
got the Historical Commission.
Historical Commission.
It's a little early for us.
Yeah, we're speeding through.
We know that your
I
time is
understand.
valuable.
You need the weekend.
Yeah.
My name is Christy Massey. I'm the secretary for the Hood County Historical Commission. Our president, Rebecca Barnes, apologizes, but she was on vacation, and it seemed more important for her to be with her daughter and family, so,
I can understand that.
yeah. So you're stuck with me. All right, the Hood County Historical Commission is comprised of Hood County residents. We have members that are all over the county. We don't have a member right now from Lipan. We're working on that. We've got a member from Crescent, finally, and we've got members from Toller area and Pecan. So we're trying to cover the entire Hood County. It's not just Granbury, because it's the Hood County Historical Commission. We take care of the historical monuments and historical markers. Now, this past year, we have not had to pay for any new historical markers. The last year, 22-23, we got $5,000, and y'all will get back $2,466.95 as soon as we can find somebody that in the business area that we can give the money to. You know, so.
Just write her a check.
Okay. I will get our treasurer, I'll get your number and get the treasurer who is
Yeah, send it.
not me. His name's James Dickens. We don't call him Little Jimmy Dickens, but not to his face. So, because he's a nice guy. Okay. But in the current year, we have 23-24. We have the $5,000. It's being spent for Christmas decorations for the downtown courthouse, new Christmas trees, new decorations, and more nutcrackers for outside. We bought some last year, but with the COVID mess, it was difficult to get what you want when you want it. So we're getting this year. And Becky Barnes is the one that is handling that. Luckily, I don't have to. Okay.
The Christmas decorations last year were put up by the Granbury High School Key Club members, and then there were students that assisted the Historical Commission members during the candlelight tour so that people could come through and look at all the historical stuff. We accept historical artifacts for display in the courthouse. We have received a large display cabinet from the Luton family to put some of the display stuff in. We've got another one coming that's been donated that will be in the courthouse, in the lobby, so that people can see these historic things. Now, some of these historic things, you don't want people to play with. So you can't just sit them out because they'll break them. We've all touched stuff and broke stuff. But we asked for $5,000. If that's too much, we'll do with whatever y'all have to give us. And that's all I have to say. Any questions?
Let me ask you one thing.
Yes, sir.
The city has approached me, last year was the first year that the string of lights from the historic courthouse to the deals didn't go up here, and a lot of citizens were raising Cain with the city, and they deemed it to be unsafe because of having to climb up on the roof.
Yeah.
And so they were going to check it. They approached me about it, about the county splitting the cost of that, about getting a telescopic truck like a big sign company or whatever to put that up here.
To rent it? Just to rent it for the day?
You don't know anything about that, do you, Mike? I mean, the fire departments, y'all don't really do that kind of stuff, and that would be probably too dangerous to do that.
I mean, you could probably hire
5 ladder trucks in the
Yeah.
county right now. 5 ladder trucks in the county.
I was afraid that question could be asked.
Yeah.
That's,
Why don't you find out from some of these guys? I was thinking about that we
Yeah, it would
could
look,
possibly
it was really missed.
and make a donation to the volunteer fire department that would do it.
Yeah.
For the guys that they're trained on that to do that. But have you heard that too, that people were
Yes,
complaining about the
yes.
lights?
I heard
But
that.
then the other
I
thing
complained.
is that the lights are so long that some of them burn out, well, you can't let the whole string out every time that one of them burn out, you
Yep.
know?
You need the new
So-
kind that don't go out the whole line.
So
Yeah.
that gives us enough time to check into
Yeah.
all of that, Kevin,
I can
to see.
Yeah.
make a phone call.
And it might have been the liability insurance, which maybe we could look at splitting with the city. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, Matt can do some training.
Exercise, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Get a 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, it didn't,
But you're
it
saying the
just,
county will do this, not the historic commission?
Yeah, oh no, it's
Okay.
just that it's part of it, hanging from the historic commission. You know, we
Yes.
don't do anything to the courthouse until we check with the
historical
commission, though, but since we've done it in the past, doing that, but I'm sure.
It would be blessed by the
it would
historic
be
commission,
blessed, Right.
especially if we don't have to pay for it unless you want to pay us to pay for it. And you want to do that, that's your
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
But it was,
We're going to
it,
try to do, we'll try to figure something out.
yeah, it was missed. It didn't look the same without those lights
Y'all
up.
do a good job, y'all do a good job. so.
Okay? That it?
Is everything all right in Electric, Texas?
Yeah. I'm going to go there for homecoming, so,
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the former Miss
You don't have-
Electra, the Texas rodeo queen. Miss- Hey, the whole state of Texas, by the way, not just Electra, Texas.
it was a
the whole
long time
state.
ago.
I mean,
Are you part of the Massey's that have been in Granbury a long time?
Yeah, I married into him 50 years ago. I'm still a newcomer. If I stay married to him, I can stay. If not, I have to go back to Electra.
So Matt lost in the Massey's that have been in.
Well, back then, there was a lot of inbreeding because there wasn't a lot of people. But it explained a lot.
yeah. Some of them
Well, I
only,
married into the Matlock, so
So you
it's
understand.
not my part.
some of them only had 3 fingers on their hand, too.
So
This
we're
is
kinfolk
recorded
somehow.
for, in perpetuity here,
Yeah. This is, you're on the record.
public record here. So.
Okay.
Good. Thank y'all. Tell everybody else. that
Thank y'all for
what
doing
y'all
this.
do.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
You
Don't
gotta-
forget your purse, Christie.
Ms.
Is
Vance?
that your purse?
Now, where's my brain?
Can't find that for you.
Okay. Sheriff, what do y'all have next?
Well, capital stuff, if we're going back and forth on that, or whatever you want to do.
Well, y'all the only ones, what are y'all here on?
The capital, trucks and
Capital
things.
improvements, no.
They got trucks and,
Is that what?
More
yeah,
of it.
equipment, vehicles.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and do that then. Because I don't, did anybody hear anything from Coke on Pecan Valley?
Mm-mm.
And then the Hood County Appraisal District, are they going to show? Has anybody heard from them?
Maybe planning on showing up at
One week.
Yeah,
Because say me and Christie can talk about the
yeah, we need, have you
Pecan
talked
Valley
to,
on
Go
board.
ahead and talk about capital
talked to
improvements.
Andy?
Okay. Well, we had got you all the packets with everything we had, and the auditor has that stuff reflected up there with the Tahoes and the animal control holding boxes, or whatever you call them, and then the dispatch consoles. We sent you all the backup stuff, but the reason I wanted Denise to be here is if you had any other specific questions on the vehicles.
Well,
And that-
my question is are they getting here any faster?
Part of the problem was, well, when GM had their strike. So the 6 that we've already taken care of, they're building them the end of July. That's the last I've heard. So once we get them, or they start building them in July, it could be several more months, because then they have to get to Dana Safety, then they have to get in line to be built. Once they get in the line to be built, they're usually ready within 2 weeks.
And those
So-
are the ones that were allocated last summer?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, so it's been a year
We're
and they're,
really, yes, and we're really hurting, honestly. I need those vehicles. So, but the next year, well, this year, I guess 2025. And I apologize, I was going to make an appointment to come visit, but I haven't had the time, so I can still do that if we need to sit down and discuss more. But, so we're asking for the 6 Tahoes and the 3 trucks. That's minimum, in my opinion, just because we are growing. Thank you. It helps, but with people and the things that you've given us, I'm trying to make it work with equipment and vehicles as well. We run 6 trucks with animal control. I want to try to we replaced 2 last year. There were over 100,000 miles, the 2 Tahoes. I would like to replace 3 more of those. There's 4 that really need to be replaced, but I'm going to try to make that work, that will be into the 100,000 miles, because as you know, we run quite a bit on those, going back and forth on the transport, not only to the jails, but to appointments and people in need, taking those individuals to those places as well. So I am going to the expo in August. I'm hoping to look at some different vehicles. Every major car dealership will be there. Every person that supplies for us will be there. And I'm hoping to get some better ideas on some vehicles, because this really only takes care of patrol and transport, but we have street crimes, we have CID, we have animal control as well. And, those vehicles are aging as well. So it might be something we need to start talking about and looking at as well, because we are growing and our vehicles have pretty much stayed the same. Any questions or anything else I can go over?
I just have a question on the 2 smaller ones, the 2 new consoles and the holding boxes. Is there any opportunity to use some of the SB 22 money to get those right away?
I'm not sure if I can use the SB 22 money for,
The animal control,
yeah, for animal control and the dispatch consoles, because it's supposed to be, the money that they
Sheriff,
supplied is
yeah.
for the patrol people.
Yeah,
and what
patrol,
supports-
that's true.
What supports all that, so I guess I can check into it, but unless, that, I was told that it was just
Okay, for patrol and patrol-related
for-
expenses.
Yeah. So I don't think it can go for that.
Okay. That's it.
I don't have anything, yeah, anything.
Has any other department switched off of Chevy to try to get them sooner, or is that what you're going to find out at the
What I understand
Expo.
is there's, with the Fords and the Dodges, there's problems with the Fords, there's problems with the Dodges as well. So I don't know that switching would be beneficial, but maybe looking at more economical cars for CID, something that's not as big, more economical, that's still useful for them. And maybe a different, I'm hoping I'll have some more insight at the expo. This will be the first time I'll attend that, and I've heard that it's really good, and every major brand will be there,
So
or
you're talking
dealership.
about maybe stepping down from a Tahoe to a Traverse?
Well, not for patrol, and this is something that would really be the sheriff's decision, but I would like to get the information and then present it to him once I go to the expo and get him more information, because, we were driving, around 61,000 miles a month, and we're driving anywhere between 80 and 85,000 miles a month now.
It varies on
Yeah.
the mileage, just depending on the call volume, and if you're running crisscrossing back and forth across the county, then it all starts to add up. A lot of that's been the extraditions and the,
Yeah, that's every department,
yeah, that's everything combined. So when we take people up to Wichita Falls and make 3 trips up there in one day, that's a bunch of miles right there on one vehicle. But patrol, yeah, sometimes runs, in a 24-hour period can put on a lot of miles. Years ago, they tried putting investigations into, what were those even called? They were little Fords.
Oh, those Fiat Ford Focuses?
I don't remember what they were called. But anyway, didn't work out very well.
Oh, the Explorers?
No, these are little cars.
Compact cars.
Yeah, and that didn't work out very well. And then they didn't, huh?
Fiestas?
No,
That'd be fun.
I can't remember what they called them, but they
Don't
were,
get in a chase in a Fiesta.
The Edge.
well, they didn't, didn't even think about doing a chase, but they were little bitty cars. The county got a good deal on them and said, here, you can drive this, and they can't put much stuff in them. So it just didn't work out very good. The Tahoes have been the best, in my opinion, because of the room for putting inmates back there and all the other equipment that we carry. I believe in being ready for anything and not get to something and boy, I wish I would have had that equipment, but I left it back at the office. So they're able to, and we ended up having the tongs to catch snakes and do all kinds of stuff. So we've got them on all the vehicles. We've got lots of
I don't
vests and
agree with
shields,
it.
and I want them to have what they need when they need it, not, oops, I wish I wouldn't have left that back at the office. And some of those smaller cars, like those little Fords, it just didn't work. The Dodges, I can't think of what that model was called, but some of them are switching over to those too, but, yeah, the Durango, so that might work out, but then I guess there's been some problems with those, but,
And the Ford, there's been problems with the
Yeah,
Fords.
the-
I think every dealership there's been, but he's right, the Tahoes have served us well, and we do need a lot more room than just a compact car, so.
yeah, so I'm open for looking at other stuff, and those Dodges are probably one of the best if they can figure out all the glitches that they've been having.
You're welcome.
But as long as the Tahoes are around, those are, I think, by far the best for size and everything their capabilities, so. She's looking into it and going to that expo, try to figure out what's the best and the cheapest and get us the longest amount of years in service, so, with less maintenance problems.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good deal.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Mike Barrett come up. Chief Barrett?
Do you want to do anything, auditor? You need anything? Or you just asking for 5% COLA across the board?
We did hers yesterday. We did her, but we didn't do the general admin. Do we need to talk about that?
I was going to say, I heard capital, so I wanted to just jump up here.
Go ahead.
I do, I just sent it to you. But the thing is, I do not have pricing on any of it, and that is why I quite literally wanted to put it on under capital, because like I told everyone yesterday, I absorbed everyone's new stuff into my budget moving forward. But there are 3 items that I do not know. So the collection station, so I was approached by Ms. Matlock about the collection station wanting cameras out there because they deal in cash. So to run the infrastructure out there would be cabling to get the fiber out there, the switches, an actual camera server, and the cameras. I don't have a cost on that. I'm estimating, guesstimating probably 50 to 60,000 to do that. But I'm not for certain. I'm working on getting quotes. But like I said, that's why I wanted to throw it in capital. Again, I don't have a cost. The county clerk actually mentioned Tyler Bridge Pay for taking payments. They are ending that service at the end of the year. Tyler is supposed to be working on some kind of new software to replace it, but again, we don't have a cost on that. She also mentioned that she was going to look into something similar or a different product or something. Yeah. But again, there's no cost.
And what is that for?
That is,
Oh.
yep.
Could that be considered archiving expense? Okay.
But again, I didn't know, so again, there's no cost. I don't have any cost to any of this. And then, of course, the EOC, the AV system at the EOC, that is the same AV system that has been there since the building was put in 2013.
Do you have an estimated cost for that one?
I do not. I am currently working to get a cost.
Okay.
I was working with Margaret originally to see if we could get a cost and maybe put it under a grant or something like that, but I haven't heard anything back, so I just wanted to earmark it again. I don't know what that cost would be, but I just want to earmark it, because that whole system, while it still works, is 10 years old.
Is there any wireless potential equipment that we could put into the collection station instead of having to run hard wires across the asphalt?
So the thought process right now for infrastructure at the collection station is right now we have infrastructure at road ops. And so the idea was getting with Mr. Lenny and his team, because of course he has all the heavy equipment, would actually trench for us to the collection station. So then we would only have to buy the shielded fiber to run it ourselves. It would save cost because we already have infrastructure there from Charter. And so everything can just piggyback off of that. And then we'll put the switch, because again, at some point I know Ms. Matlock mentioned possibly like wireless payments, and she wanted Wi-Fi out there and possible phones.
Yeah, I guess we had a fire at one point, nobody got a phone, like a huge dumpster fire,
actual dumpster fire.
Yeah, not just calling it a dumpster fire, like an actual dumpster fire. So again, the thought process is to put actual infrastructure out there, and so this is what we would do.
I mean, at this point, I think we still have, what, we're into June, we still have July, August, and really, to get it, estimates in and finalized, and
Well, again,
so-
I didn't have a price. I just wanted to
Yeah.
earmark it again. Just wanted to come up here and earmark it, just so it wasn't well, you didn't say anything at Fund 55 for
Right.
next year.
Right.
So that's why I just want to make it known.
And if, I like your idea about, there's got to be a wireless option. I don't know. That's at least check on it to see if that's a potential. Or Elon Musk, Skylink.
Skylink, Elon Musk.
That might not be cheap, I don't know.
They can hook up to a satellite. What does that cost?
I could find out, Judge.
Check into that.
And see if he has different rates for
Okay.
commercial versus government rates.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, those were the 3 items that I have.
He doesn't have enough.
So,
And there's a satellite up there, bounce it off, then we all needed that adequated fiber link stuff.
yeah. But those were my 3 items.
Do you have any,
I did email it to you, though, so at least those 3 items. They're just,
Either of you have any experience with setting up cameras and costs associated with it? Yes, you and Mr. Hay. No experience there, okay. Just trying to get a,
Satellite business, but I'm aware of Skylink.
I think you can see them sometimes.
Yeah, it's super cool. I saw that one time, and I thought something was on my windshield or something. I'm like, what the heck is that? I stuck my head outside the window, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. You can see like 15 of them things going across at the same time.
we ought to at least list them and put some placeholder there so we know it's,
Like one from together or separate them out?
I think separate them. But I don't have any idea what to put. He said 50 to 60 for the cameras. And then Chris, our county clerk is going to look into possibly using her archive fund for the Tyler Bridge pay. That's an option.
We said that we gave the Hood County officials $70,000 in addition to giving them
No.
6%.
No,
Stephanie,
I don't think so.
emergency operation.
I don't think we did that. We only pay them what they send us a bill for.
Just giving them 26% of whatever we have.
Yeah, they're,
They're not. What do we give Pecan Valley? Pecan Valley, mental health, mental Folk used to come in and see us all the time. I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in so long. He must be real busy.
He may be waiting until 2:30. Maybe waiting for his appointed time on the calendar there.
We only need 2 more, right?
Yeah, he and Appraisal District.
I don't think that, yeah, I don't really understand why that's even on here.
Is Andrea not coming in?
I don't know, I sent her a message, and I hadn't heard back.
Commissioner Andrews said she wasn't over in the office today. So I guess we could just look at our budget and see what it looks like.
Did the tax collector assessor submit anything to you?
Yes.
What did she ask for? She couldn't come yesterday because she had 3 employees out.
Kind of looks like she's, because I had talked to her a little bit about some reorganization with titles in the office. And it looks like she's just going to one office manager, one clerical supervisor, and then an increase for clerks.
Did she have people quitting in her office and office managers?
She had the clerical supervisor left, and then that kind of created that whole cascade of positions being filled going up, so, yeah.
Anything in her else in her budget that she's changing besides?
I don't see anything but salaries in here affected. There's that, if you would. It's all salaries, retirement, and benefits.
So the variance is $15,000. Okay, but not asking for any additional positions?
Just looking at it, I don't think so. I don't know if she had anywhere to put somebody if she did get somebody else. Without a new building, I don't think she.
Yeah.
Anybody have Jeff Law's number?
Yeah, I'm going to have the regular. I don't even know why it's on this sheet, because we just. They send us once their budget is finalized and approved, they divide it up by the taxing entities and send us a bill, so.
Right,
I
but
don't-
we have to approve the budget.
Right, so I don't know why they're even on here. Why, I mean,
Probably
this
just
isn't.
an estimation to be able to put into our budget as a placeholder, so.
Well, it's probably, what's our total for the year, for this year? 400 and, or didn't they send us a high-level rough estimate?
You're asking what our quarterly payments are?
Yes, quarterly for this fiscal year.
178,964, which is a total of $715,856 a year. And I was looking at their projection of the Hood County piece of their budget. It looks like it's 714, if I'm reading it, if I understand it correctly.
Yeah, so at this point, I mean, we should probably estimate 750. But I can call him and ask him if he's planning to come, but I don't really see why he would. I'm not sure he even knew he was on the agenda.
Yeah, that,
We could talk about general administration if you want to.
Do what?
We could talk about general administration if you want to.
Okay.
I was hoping you would consider using contingency more as a contingency rather than 55. But it is a different school of thought, so instead of using Fund 55 as the contingency account, actually putting the contingency for things that aren't capital expenditures, like the thing, well, we used it for a couple things, but kind of changed the mindset a little, but it's,
Give me an example we're using for something that's not capital.
what have we used it for so far?
something real recent even.
It was, because I questioned it, and you told me it wasn't that I was like, fixing a
Yeah, maybe.
vehicle or something.
Well, okay, here was an example that we did last year with the, whenever IT was having a change, and you know what, I don't know for sure that came out of 55, but they said, okay, let's have somebody come in on a part-time basis and learn from the outgoing guy. So there was some salary contingency there that, and I don't know if that necessarily came out of Fund 55, but I think that would be more of a contingent budget type item instead of a capital type item.
Some of that, I mean, we just had a few purchases today that were unbudgeted, like the voice, that might have been last court, the voice thing that we purchased for the sheriff's department, but that was unplanned. It's not really capital. The desks for the 9/11 center, I don't know. There's certain things where it's either a contract that we didn't know about that comes up that we that it's critical that we do it, and things like that it's not a capital improvement, it's not an asset. You're right, that's good words, good terminology. Yeah. The chair, that was a good example. The chair for Judge Haddock is $975.
Which I guess could be argued that it's a capital.
It had the capital seal on it.
It's something you can lay on your hands on. That's right.
It's not something you're going to depreciate. If you were in the world where you did depreciation, capital depreciation, it wouldn't fit under that criteria. And look who just walked in.
Oh,
Right on time.
Coke Beatty, come on up here. The microphone is waiting for you, sir.
Oh, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would have come sooner if I would have known that. How's everybody today?
Good.
Good. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to y'all today. Pecan Valley is deeply appreciative of the current $32,000. It's in the county budget right now. That's important for us to maintain. We use it as match for various grants, so it's very helpful to us. This year, I'm not asking for an increase. As you know, there's been a lot of mental health funding coming out of HHS for the past 2 sessions. A lot came out this last session. We anticipate more coming out this upcoming session, but it all requires match. So there's very little, there is some, but it's very little that requires zero match for the mental health funding that's coming out from the state. And all the money so far that's coming out, new money so far, comes out as an allocation that the state holds, and then we perform the work, and then we invoice the state for the funds. They reconcile the invoice, make sure there's nothing on there that we should be billing to the grant, and then they cut the check. So that's how they operate now with all these grants that are coming out over the last session and the upcoming session.
What's the timeline on that process? Is that?
Well, geez. I'll give you an example, a real live example. We applied for a youth crisis respite grant. It's $2 million, $1 million each fiscal year. And we were awarded the grant back in October of last year. And we said, great, so we can start purchasing property, hiring staff. And they said, no, you can't spend any of that money prospectively until you sign the contract. I said, okay, so when is the contract coming out? I got the contract the end of March. So we have April, May, June, July, and August to spend $1 million. And there's no carryover to next year for what's unspent this year. So that's how they're operating. That's a real live example of how these grants are rolling out. So, but I was going to mention, we are very appreciative that we were awarded that grant. We did purchase a house on a few acres just outside of Weatherford. It's going to serve the entire 6-county region that we serve. It'll serve kids 13 to 16, 17, and it'll overnight sleep 6 kids. We can hold up to 10 during the day. It'll be a therapeutic respite. So what does that really mean? It's a respite is just a break from your normal daily living circumstances, right? When you take a respite or if you're on respite. So it's the same meaning as that. And kids really need that. It helps maintain their current living situation, to have a break, give the caregivers a break. Sometimes the caregiver's grandma, and she's doing it by herself, and the kid has behaviors or has drug addiction or a severe mental illness that needs a lot of attention and therapy. So it's for situations like that, and we anticipate that to be up and running, hopefully, by about October of this year, that we can start taking children into that program. I want to thank you for allowing Ed Selheimer and Christy Massey to be on my board. And I appreciate Sheriff Deeds very much. He's the ex officio sheriff on the board. Just a few quick numbers to throw at you if you have a second. As you know, we serve 6 counties. Over the past 12 months, we served over 12,000 individuals across our 6 counties. For Hood County, Specifically, we served over 1,400 adults, and we served over 300 children and adolescents. Our crisis response system is very active. As you know, we have a mobile crisis outreach team that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they respond to all kinds of calls from the emergency rooms, from the sheriff's departments, from the police departments, and then just individuals calling the hotline from home or work or school. We respond to schools as well. Over the past year, we responded face-to-face to over 2,000 of those calls. And I'm happy to report that we were able to divert over 1,200 of those calls, divert them to other services other than hospitalization. So not all those went to a psych hospital or inpatient somewhere else. For Hood County does have a high percentage of crisis. We totaled 438 responses face-to-face. Now, when I say face-to-face, it includes virtual, because we gave tablets out to all law enforcement agencies. So we can actually do the assessment virtually with a iPad tablet. It's secured, so HIPAA's okay. It's okay for HIPAA. So we had 438 of those for Hood County, but we diverted 220 away from hospitalization. So a lot of folks can go home with supports, if supports at home are arranged, until the next business day, and they can come to the clinic, get enrolled in services, or some other, or they can go to our adult respite facility that we have in Stephenville. That's open 24/7 with awake staff. But even though we were able to divert over 50% of the calls, we still average about 16 inpatient results from crisis interventions a month, about 16 a month. And sometimes, and the sheriff will tell you, here a couple of months ago, we had a couple of really bad months in Hood County. I can't explain it, but they were pushing up over 20 a month for a couple of months ago. But if you look at the average over the year, it was 16. So what happens when there's a hospitalization like that? If it's involuntary, then law enforcement is required to make that transport. So that's why it puts strain on the sheriff's department. So that's why we are trying to divert as many of those involuntaries as possible. If it's a voluntary placement, then the person gets there under their own power. And we do follow up with every admission. I have a person that's in a position called continuity of care, and we track every single hospital admission and every discharge. So we know when that person's coming out, where they're coming to, and we engage with them to either stay in services or to enroll in services, because a lot of these folks are not enrolled in services. And as you know, we're a voluntary organization. We can't make people enroll in our services. All of our facilities are licensed substance abuse treatment facilities for adults and youth. I'm really happy to report that we did get 2 grants this past year, and I told you all about the youth crisis respite already. The other grant is called a Forensic Assertive Community Treatment Team. So this is very much like our assertive community treatment team that we have now, which are staff that have small caseloads of about 10 clients they see almost every day in the community, in their homes. There's a nurse on the team, there's a doctor on the team, so that's how the team's comprised. A nurse, a doctor, a counselor, and some case managers, and a small caseload. These are people that have very high incidence of hospitalization and involvement with law enforcement. So the forensic assertive community treatment team is very similar, except it focuses on forensic issues. It will help the individual understand why they have involvement with law enforcement and train them and teach them, if they're willing, to how to divert further engagement with law enforcement. So we're real excited about receiving that grant. Right now, it's, sometimes you drive through a town and it'll say, waiting room, has no waiting time to get served at the hospital or the waiting room. So how long does it take to see a doctor at Pecan Valley? For a routine admission, that means it's not a crisis, because if someone's in a crisis, we assess it in levels of care, right? So if it's in a person in a crisis, we fill a vacant, like a no-show slot with a doctor, which happens almost every day these days. So we work them in immediately. But what about just for a routine admission to services? It's not a crisis. The person needs help, but nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to get hurt. They just know they need help and they want to get services. So for those folks, for adults, it takes 24 days from the point of admission to see a doctor. For children, it's 38 days. I just have one child psychiatrist, and she's not even in Texas. She's in Alabama. She telepsychs in. It's really difficult to find child psychiatrists today. It's extremely challenging. So I thought you might be interested in those numbers. Of course, there are a lot of ways you can help someone before they see the doctor. And our approach with serving children and adolescents is, let's not rush to put them on medications. Let's see if counseling will work. Let's see if family therapy will work. And give that a shot. And then if they need to see the doctor for some medication, then sure, we'll do that. We can sure do that. And it's similar approach with the adults. But a lot of our adults are also struggling with substance abuse. And sometimes it's hard to know which came first, the mental illness or the addiction. Sometimes it's impossible to tell. That concludes my report. I'd be glad to answer any questions. And again, thank you very much.
Did the state start building any mental hospitals? Wasn't there some talk about that?
There's a lot of talk about that, Judge. Yes. So right now there's, and I was just in a meeting last week, and they said there's about 2,200 state hospital beds in Texas. 65% of those hospital beds are filled with forensic admissions. So there's basically two types of admissions to a state mental health facility. Civil commitment, which is what we deal with a lot from the emergency rooms and from people's homes and out of our outpatient clinics. And then you have the forensic admissions. The forensic come from the county jails. And persons committed a crime, they're incompetent to stand trial. Before they can proceed, the person has to go through competency restoration training and services. And until recently, the only place you could receive that was in a state institution, like Wichita Falls State Hospital. And those admissions to the state hospital went from the jail straight they didn't go through us. They just went straight to the hospital. The good news is we have been awarded the ability to convert our community-based competency restoration program to a jail-based competency restoration program. So we are in the process of hiring staff that will work with your jail administrators and your county sheriffs in our area, in this case, Sheriff Deeds, to actually provide those competency restoration services in the jail and not have to wait for a state hospital bed to open.
That'd be huge, won't it, Sheriff?
Mm-hmm. When will that start?
We've already started. And I know we've done one in Erath County and one in Johnson County. I'd have to check with staff. We're told who is on that list. There's a state database that we get that information from. And then we're in the process of hiring staff to do that. But with the staff that we have right now, we've actually begun that program. So, and that's region-wide. So that will help a little bit.
Going back to the judge's question, I thought during that same last legislative session that there was some beds being built around in Harris County, or it seems like it was a big county. I just can't remember if it was Harris or Travis, or it wasn't anywhere up North Texas.
Right. That's a good question. What they did was they totally rebuilt the Austin State Hospital, old Austin State Hospital, ASH for short. That was built back at the turn of the century, I think, or maybe back in the 30s. This is when that hospital was constructed. So they totally tore it down and renovated it. They may have only added just a few beds to that hospital. And these state hospitals only have about 200 beds to 225 beds each. So it's not like huge, right? Dallas, last year they added 200 beds to a hospital up there, and 50 of the beds were pulled away for research, so left 150 beds, and Dallas filled them up just like that, Dallas County. So there's no access, we have no access to that hospital in Dallas. They're expanding Kerrville State Hospital, and I'm not quite sure how many more beds. I think all in total, when all the building and construction and all that's completed, they're probably going to add maybe 300 beds. So now you're looking at,
The bucket too.
well, how many millions of people does Texas have? Like 30?
32 million. I think.
32 million, and we have about 2,500 or less than 3,000 state hospital beds. So it really pushes it back to the community. So we're trying to step up our community response and work with all of our law enforcement the best we can, and try to come up with innovative programs. We did apply for a crisis diversion center last year, and so did everyone else in the state of Texas, all the other local mental health authorities. They only funded 4 of them, 4 new ones across the state, and they went to the big metropolitan locations. Still on our wish list when that opportunity comes back up. Also, I can tell you in closing that we purchased a piece of property behind Harbor Lakes Nursing Home on 2nd Street, behind Aldi, behind those hotels over there. And we're going to relocate our outpatient clinic and build a new clinic. We're in about 5,600 square foot of space right now on Pirate Drive. And I've got 3 staff to an office, and it's just not workable anymore. So we need a larger facility. This county's growing, and so our board approved using money out of our fund balance to pay, and all this is cash. I'm not going into debt, putting the center in debt at all. So this is a cash deal. We bought the property, and we're in the process of contracting with the architect, and we're going to have a new facility over there that we can serve a lot more people, and staff won't be sitting on top of each other in that process. So that's coming, and what I hope to do, cross your fingers, right, hope, to add a wing on the end of it that we can use for diversion services if we do get the money. So if that works out, then we'll already have the facility in place, and until then I can use that end for multi-purposes, right? I can fill it up doing something else. But there are some standards, construction standards that have to be met for hold facilities for folks, like a emergency detention center type thing, but that could hold a few people for a couple of days. And sometimes that's all you need. If you can hold them for a couple of days, get some medication in them, get some counseling, right? Detox them a little bit if they're not too sick for that, make sure it's safe, then it's like, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to go anywhere. So we're gonna try that. Well, thank you for your support today and continued support.
Great job there. How many years have you been?
32 and a half,
Wow.
pushing 33 years.
That's amazing. That's
Seems like yesterday. I'm serious, dead serious. Seems like yesterday.
Are the issue?
I don't know where the time went.
Is the issue with the child psychiatrist that no one's going into that profession, or that this arrangement doesn't pay enough?
Yeah, both. And they're not choosing to go into community mental health. They can do better
In the private
out in a
sector.
private sector setting, right? So, but we have a good one right now. Hopefully we'll be able to find another one too.
well, we like working with you. For sure.
Well, thank you very much. Feelings mutual. We appreciate your support very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great
I'm
week.
going to ask Michael Barrett to come up and talk.
The Coke baby. C-O-K-E. That's what that is. How do you spell that?
Yeah.
That was a great job.
Yeah. Yep.
Michael Barrett, come up and speak.
Huh?
Chief Barrett, he's been sitting here. He wants to talk.
Mike, you want to say something? Come on out.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something about,
I missed the fire marshal meeting yesterday.
Oh, I was
Oh.
like, man, if he's been sitting there ready to talk the whole time,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for not
Yeah.
pointing that out
Well,
earlier. That,
yes.
yeah.
So, yeah, Jeff came up yesterday and talked about the funding for the fire departments, and do you want to mention?
Yeah, he asked for 120 per department, so it was a little increase there, so, yep. All right. I was trying to sign that to you a minute ago, but I couldn't, you weren't looking at me at the right time, so.
I was at the baseball game last night at Cleburne.
Oh,
Pitch up.
Oh, nice. For the
all
railroaders?
right. Look, was it a strike?
Yeah, I threw it over the plate.
All right, you go, boy. They put a clock on you or anything, or to sign you up, give you a Railroaders jersey, and put
Speaking
you
of
in the
that.
first inning?
How many bounces did it take?
You know, Texas A&M,
Gonna help you out.
you know Texas A&M is in the College World Series. Yes. Whoop. Okay, yeah, so, did you want to go back and talk about, we kind of got interrupted with the contingent thing.
You're welcome to stay. We didn't mean to run you off. That-
I think they're right about some of these people go off their meds. They lock them up in there and they give them their meds. Boy, they want to get out of there when they start getting loose again. You already have a judge. I'm totally ready to go back. I'm sorry that I threatened to kill my mother-in-law. I didn't really mean that. I said, no, I can understand that. Thanks, Judge. I guess
Oh.
we just.
She wanted to talk about, this is her general, no, he's not coming. This is the general admin.
Yeah, I
So-
just guesstimated on each cat, I mean, just to plug something in there. And then the contingency general, I added some to that, but really it's up to y'all how you want to handle that. I think historically we've had contingency there, and then we've also kind of leaned on Fund 55. In my mind, contingency is contingency, and then capital outlays for like asset type purchases, like the grinder and the bobcats and things like that. So I would like to see a little bit of a shift there. But it's your budget. I haven't been here for a full year. I haven't really investigated the ins and outs. I'm still getting comfortable.
You almost have to be here one whole cycle to see how everything is.
I'm trying to catch up and.
Yeah, but you're doing a great
research
job.
things,
I think you're doing
but
it.
it's definitely, there's still a lot more for me to learn.
So that's why you're shifting. So the current budget has, what, 230? And you're saying to bump that up to 500 and then just have capital be for capital, and then this would catch any of the unexpected issues like the construction that we had to do over here because of, I don't know if maybe facility maintenance had funds in their budget to handle the painting and things that happened with the water leak over here, but if they hadn't, that could have been an example that came from contingency.
Right, or dispatch overtime, or, little things like that that aren't necessarily like an asset purchase, but they're still very important. But, it's your budget, do with it what you will, but in my mind, it works more that way. And I don't know the dollar amount either, I just kind of took a guess and plugged it in there.
You could probably go through all the Fund 55 charges this year and separate them out between miscellaneous and assets and see what we've done this year. That would be helpful, because we aren't remembering what those were.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that, but I've made a lot of changes, so I'm trying to keep up all the things. So you'll notice here presented, Commissioner Samuelson asked if I would put a percentage change and then the year-to-date activity for 2023. There it is. So it does look differently than how I printed it for you. And if you like this better, when it prints on the page, I took away some older years. That way it would print a little larger. So if you'd like for me to, I can print it again in this format, and it might be more helpful for you guys to review. I'm very flexible. I have it set up in a manner in which I can look at the data in lots of different ways pretty quickly. So,
And you have the totals down there, which is really helpful too, I think.
No, I like
you like this better than
this,
the other one?
this presentation, yeah.
Okay. It's just a matter of how you view it, what you're looking at, what's important to you. And all that other data that you don't see that you did see, it's still there.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. If we ask you something specifically, you can usually get it and access it pretty quickly.
Yeah,
anyway.
she's really-
So as long as you can put it in, I like this format up there, and as long as you can access the earlier stuff sometime, that's good. So, whatever's easier for you, but
Yeah, this gives us the prior 2 years' budget, the prior 2 years' spend, and then the proposed and the variance, so I think it looks good. Anything else?
You mentioned the extra revenue line for insurance. Are you guys okay if I add that in there? That way we can kind of track it in and out, and it's in one place. That way we can see what's happening.
Right. I like that idea.
What was that?
better.
Insurance,
It would be like a revenue account, and then there's already an expense account, so it would just, that way if we got like a reimbursement.
oh, okay,
or something along the way.
yes.
Seems to be a constant, where do I put this? And I'm thinking, where did it come from? If it's like, I can't put revenue in an expense account, that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be able to track it, so it's really, so in my mind, we would have an insurance revenue bucket, kind of like we have an insurance expense bucket. and that way
Oh,
we
yeah,
can see both sides.
good idea.
So I'll add that in there, but it's not like we're not going to like have a budget per se, but it'll just be a easier trackable type scenario where you can see the ins and outs.
How much longer is the Crescent bypass?
That's a great question. I think we have 4 payments left, and one of them is in August. Last time I looked at it.
Maybe we'll pay it off before it's complete.
I was thinking that too. I see them out there working on it, so maybe they'll.
Hopefully. Now,
Great job. I'll tell you what, this is a hard job. County auditor is a hard job. You've done a magnificent job by getting acclimated so early.
I agree. Very.
Too late.
Oh,
is there can we do something similar with the brush yard? Track the,
Yeah, with the, what do you mean?
track the income, the revenue from the brush
We
yard?
are tracking that.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
just making sure that that
I
was,
thought you were going to talk about the cameras and making it more secure.
oh,
that too.
yeah, that too.
Yeah, anywhere where there's cash coming in is a
That's what I was.
risk.
Right, and they need like a phone, when if something were to happen, there could be an emergency. I know animal control is really close by, so maybe they can, maybe we can talk to Drew about the camera situation out there too. Then
Elon
have a
Musk.
building.
Do you have anything out there in your storage bin out there? I know you got everything else in the world out there. You got any?
Satellite, you have any satellite cameras?
Satellite cameras?
Yeah.
No, but I did have access last year, or the end of last year, to some SATCOM. We didn't go after it, but it was there.
Keep your ears open.
Elon Musk. That's going to be the answer.
So can we, so on the brush yard, are you saying you're going to have another revenue, like a separate revenue for brush yard income?
It already does that.
Oh, okay. What is this CAFR line, do you know? That 41,400? Doesn't have anything in it, but I don't know what that stands for. I don't know either. Are we done? Did you?
I think Constable Four says no.
He wants to talk.
This long.
Slip on in here.
Okay.
What do you mean you're that long? You got a packet. You're dropping a novel off over
We
here.
already got the speech from Scott yesterday.
Yeah, but the one thing you didn't get was the capital outlay.
Oh, okay.
If so approved, that's the current price in replacing or obtaining 2 new vehicles for the 2 positions. And compared to what we paid in 2022, they have gone up $25,000 per vehicle. That's equipped and everything out the door and done. That's what that price is. And that's the current one from TIPS on the state contract. And the only other thing I'll add to that request is the Chevrolet pickup we have is having electrical issues, and other mechanical issues, and we need at least 6,000 to 7,000 to fix that, to keep it going for another year without having any issues. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind entertaining the idea of replacing it because of the electrical problems, so we don't have any other issues down the line. And that's all I've got.
So this truck is to replace, which one?
The Chevrolet pickup, our reserve vehicle, Morris uses, and Mark,
Nearman?
nope,
Oh,
Carpenter.
oh. So this is to replace a what year?
It's 2017 when we bought all those for the constables.
2017 that, who'd you say is driving it?
Morris Foster is the majority of it.
Okay.
What's the traded value on that 2017?
I don't know, but I can find that out. And then the two positions within the budget, that'd be a vehicle for each of those, if so inclined.
So this is for existing staff, and you're saying that,
That's one existing staff to replace the vehicle, and if the new staff is approved,
times 2 more? Okay.
yes, ma'am. It's
So is there-
outrageous. Everything goes up. I just can't believe it.
Is there any opportunity to, I don't know,
I'm also
cascade?
exploring other options other than, of what different units.
Mhm.
And I haven't received all those in, but this I have. I think part of the problem we have is the vehicle, the 17s, we had them done by Defender, and that caused, I think, some of the issues we're having. Everything we have currently, other than that, and everything that the Sheriff's Office has been purchasing is all done by Dana, Public Safety, and they do an outstanding job, and they back their work, and if there's issues, they take care of it. But we are exploring other vehicle options and still trying to use Dana.
Hmm.
Oh, 83,000 for one vehicle? Yes, ma'am. 83,000, that's complete. So it's the minus the,
Oh, does that include that 19?
yes, that's
Oh,
all
okay.
inclusive.
Okay, good. I was thinking.
Yeah, that 19 is included from Dana with equipment and the install.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
And then continue,
This is, and so you make sure that you have it. This is what we paid in 2022. When we should have bought more.
And what is the trimmer?
That's just a four-wheel drive. The
Trim
reason that-
package.
The question is, what is the trimmer? So the Z71 trail loss, when we ordered our vehicles on the state contract, Hood County was in the same order with the state. Chevrolet came back in 2020 and canceled every fleet order that there was. And for Texas, it was over 500 pickups. That was us, DPS, Parks and Wildlife, TxDOT, everybody. You couldn't get a Z71 four-wheel drive pickup, and it was just a four-wheel drive pickup. So the only other option we had was a trimmer, and it's the same price as the Z71, like the sheriff's driving now, Trail Boss. Four-wheel drive pickup. And these vehicles retail for that alone. Any questions?
I'm just looking at the sheriff is the Tahoes. I guess those are, I was just comparing the price, if that was another option that would be.
I think they're 90-something. Am I not right?
Well,
Six.
Oh, I guess that
Yeah,
includes the 3 trucks.
I can find out for sure and have that number for you too.
If the Tahoes would be a better, can you use Tahoe if it was less expensive?
We got pickups because of season property and things that we do and some of the places we have to go on people's
Yeah.
property.
Or trash?
Or trash. And again, that's part of my deal also that Scott talked to you about, environmental.
Yeah. So how do you want to, he's also asking for 2 contingency based on the 2 positions that he,
That's just whenever we start having some workshops to start talking and going and see how it plays out.
2 other vehicles, so that'd be what, 100 and,
249?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all very much.
Mm-hmm.
I know the fun begins
Mm-hmm.
every day.
All we need is money.
Hey, I'm working on it. I got a tax sale coming up, so September. And I'm told it's gonna be a big one, but of course, they never tell us any numbers until they dump it on us. Last year was 108. And
108 properties?
I'm sorry?
108 properties?
Correct.
Mm.
And out of that, we sold 68, and what we collected pre and at the sale was right under 1.4 million. It'd be nice if all that went to us, but it doesn't.
No.
Portion.
Most of it goes to the school district.
But I'm told this one's supposed to be a big one. When they say big, I'm thinking it's the old days when we were doing 200 and 300, so I don't know. But I'll keep y'all posted whenever it happens.
Okay.
And again, that goes back to the deal about the other person. That I'm not to kill Patricia, and I'm stealing his people from his office and JP office to help us. Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Oh, what? I heard my name.
This is adjourned.